It's the early morning in Boston. Two men, dressed as police officers, approach the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Minutes later, the museum security guard lets them in, making worst decision of his life. This is the biggest art heist in modern history. Over 500 million worth of masterpieces vanish in a single night. Not a single piece has ever been discovered, and over 3 decades later, the case remains unsolved. It was 1:24 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day weekend. The streets were mostly empty, perfect for a low-profile hit. Inside the Gardner Museum, the night is quiet, almost too quiet. The museum security was light. A few outdated cameras, one button to summon police, and on that night, just 2 guards on duty. One of them, Rick Abaff, is slouched in his chair, a 23-year-old rock musician just doing his job for rent money. He has no idea that just outside, 2 men in fake police uniforms are about to change his life forever. At exactly 1:24 a.m., the buzzer rings. "We're here about a disturbance," one says. The uniforms are convincing. The voices are calm. Rick hesitates for a second, then lets them in. What happens next is so fast, it barely feels real. "You look familiar," one man says. "I think there's a warrant out for your arrest." Before Rick can react, cuffs snap around his wrists. The second guard is grabbed. Both are led to basement, then revealed. This is a robbery. They weren't police. They were 2 unidentified men in disguise, and now they had a complete control of the museum. Over the next 81 minutes, the thieves moved with chilling calm. They didn't rush. They weren't clumsy. They went straight for specific pieces, as if they knew what they were after. They stole 13 pieces in total, including the only seascape Rembrandt ever painted, and a Vermeer so rare, it's just one of the 34 in the world. They took sketches, sculptures, and even ripped the bronze eagle off a flagpole. But here's the strange part, they ignored even more valuable paintings, including a priceless Michelangelo drawing and a painting just steps away by Raphael. Their total haul was over 500 million, and they left behind masterpieces that would push it even higher. They even walked back into one gallery to double-check a piece, then leaving it behind. In total, they spent 81 minutes inside, longer than most museum visits. Then they disappeared, slipping out through the same door they came in. No alarms, no gateway caught on camera, just few empty frames. By daylight, the FBI was already on the scene. The guards were found locked in the basement. Empty frames were still hanging on the walls. Razor blades were used to cut the canvases. There were no fingerprints, no footage. The thieves wore gloves and took museum's only VHS security tape with them. The guard's description gave us something, but not much. Police sketches were drawn based on their account. 2 men dressed as Boston cops. One looked around 30, with a narrow face. The other, little older, with a mustache. But here's the problem. They were both wearing fake mustaches and a wire-rimmed glasses, like something out of a costume store. The sketches were released, but in a crime this strange, they felt more like a decoy than a lead. A 10 million reward was posted, the largest in the art theft history, but not a single credible tip has ever led to discovery of the stolen pieces. The investigation spiraled. Theory 1. The inside job. Security guard Rick Abaff opened the side door just minutes before fake ops arrived. He claimed it was a routine, but why open the door at 1:20 a.m. with no disturbance reported? Some investigators think he was in on it, knowingly or not. Others say he was just a sleepy kid who got played by professionals. Theory 2. The Irish Mob. Real names and confessions connect the Boston's Irish mob to the heist, especially the crew run by Carmine Romano and a gangster named Bobby Donati. Donati was known to deal art and had ties to the stolen good operations. Months before the heist, he warned another criminal that he was planning something big that would give him bargaining power. He was later found murdered, execution style, in the trunk of a Cadillac. Some believe he was killed by rivals who wanted to control the stolen paintings. Even the FBI said on record they believe the organized crime in the Northeast was involved, possibly in a way to use art in drug deals or plea bargains. The museum is less than half a mile from Boston Harbor. The heist ended around 2:45 a.m. By 3 a.m., a witness reported as seeing suspicious car parked a nearby boat dock. It matched a vague description of a vehicle linked to the crime. Boston's tie charts that night show perfect conditions for a stealth gateway by water. Some believe the thieves had a small boat waiting, possibly something like a fishing or a lobster boat. There's even a rumor that the art was sealed in the industrial PVC piping, waterproofed and weighted, then either transferred to another vessel or sunk, waiting to be recovered later. More than 30 years later, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum still displays the empty frames, exactly where the stolen paintings once hung, but no one can explain why he opened that door, why the alarms didn't sound, or how thieves knew where exactly to go. The 10 million reward still stands, but not a single piece has ever came back. But somewhere out there, in a basement, or a vault, or maybe hanging silently in a private room, the missing masterpieces still exist, waiting